Hello, this is Kaylee Gonzalez with MLC CAD Systems. Welcome to my second video where I finished the CSWP sample exam, and I'm going to be going through questions 4 and 5 of that exam. Please take a look at my previous video. That's where I cover questions 1, 2, and 3, and that gives me a really good starting point for this video. So please check that out so we're all starting in the same place going through this section. Before I go into SOLIDWORKS, I want to take a look at some of the information that I've been provided for question 4 and making these changes. SOLIDWORKS is going to be very obvious and specific about the changes we need to make. They're going to be in an oval or some type of circle. What this is going to allow us to do is see very clearly and concisely the changes we have to make. So here we're going to delete a couple of features, add a couple of features, and make some additional cuts. And we can see that on the sample exam. If I scroll down, I see additional information. Here I have my values that I need to update my global variables and equations to. Now also be very observant. Equation y has been updated to be plus 15 instead of plus 10 from the previous files. So make sure that you are observant on the information they're giving you because it can make a difference in your model. Now, one of the first things that I encourage you to do before you start a modeling section or any additional question is to absolutely save your model. Either save it at the beginning of a question or save it at the end of the previous question. The reason why is if something goes wrong during the test, you have a very clean starting point to go back to without having to go back too far or have to retrace a lot of steps. Remember that the test is timed, so you do not want to be wasting time going through the exam, especially if something goes wrong. So go ahead and make sure that you save those parts for every question in the exam. The first thing I'm going to do is update all of my global variables and equations. The reason why I'm doing this first is simply so I don't forget to do it. When you are modeling and you're concentrating really hard on making all the modeling changes and fixing any errors that come up, this is one of those things that ends up being out of sight, out of mind, and it's very easy to forget to do it, or you think you've done it and you actually haven't. So make sure you change those values. Just do it first, do it up front. That way you know it's done and your model is going to be accurate. Looking at the sample exam, we know that the counterbore hole is going to be deleted. So that's the first thing that I'm going to address in the changes for question 4. So going into my design tree, I'm going to right click on my counterbore hole and say delete. Be aware of what you are deleting in this confirm delete window. SOLIDWORKS will want to delete all dependent items. Now in this case we're okay with that because these are just the sketches that are driving the counterbore hole, so I'm okay if they're deleted. And that successfully got rid of our counterbore hole. The next item that I want to delete is going to be boss extrude 2 to clear up that corner. Now we can see this does have some children, so I expect some errors after I delete this particular feature. Once I right click to choose delete, this is also going to delete my first fillet. Now remember that fillet is what is currently rounding out this particular corner. I can also say delete absorbed features, which will delete my sketches. This is going to save you some time, but also keep your design tree up to date and very clean and organized. And as expected, we are seeing some warnings in our design tree. These are going to be primarily dangling sketch relations or dimensions. And if we take a look at the first item, again, always start at the top of your tree and work your way down, I can see that my value is dangling. And if I reattach that, I can fix the error, but be aware that this particular value, this 165, should be being driven by a global variable. I don't see that capital sigma sign anymore. That means that this is no longer being linked. So you might be okay for this question if you already updated your values, but you won't be correct for any preceding questions if you miss that. So be aware that you could end up losing reference to global variables. You may have to reset it to global variable C in this case in order for everything to be entirely accurate. So you don't want to miss that. That's like a huge gotcha in the exam that can cause you to get several wrong answers. The second item is the fillet, and we expect there to be some issues with the fillet, primarily with faces that are no longer there because we deleted that. And that's exactly what we're seeing. I'm going to delete the couple of edges that are no longer there from having deleted that boss, and I'm going to add in this new edge so that it is included in the fillet feature. And that cleared up my design tree. These types of errors should be relatively minor, and you should be looking at just lost references. It's also why I went off of my top plane that limited the amount of references I created in my original part file. It makes this much easier for you as the end user to edit and change. So going back into my CSWP sample exam, the next section I'm going to add is going to be this cut occurring in the back portion of my model. Now I do see some offset values, so I know I'm going to use offset entities inside of my sketch. Now with this, you may have to do some of these edges individually. This is so that you get the orientation correct, so it's offsetting in the correct way. So use that little push pin that will keep your offset entities open, and then we can go ahead and offset the proper edges of our model to make sure that we're maintaining the design inside of the drawing views we've been given. And this is going to result in a disjointed sketch. However, we are going to fix that. So this does have some flat sides to it. Just make sure you are keeping track of your sketch relations. This should be tangent to the arc that we've created. The corner is not closed. We can go and drag the endpoints to manually close that corner, and then finish with our trim entities tool and clean up some of the extra items. This gives us a nice, clean, closed contoured sketch. From here, we're ready to go to turn this into a feature. With my cut extrude, I'm going to use offset from surface. This is because the value that we've been provided is from the bottom of the part. So if we end up making changes to the depth of this in a later question, we know that this is going to be accurate. Now, one thing that I didn't do is I didn't use my rollback bar, so my cut extrude is at the bottom. But I didn't create any unexpected relations, so I can move that up in my tree. You may want to be a little bit more cognizant of the order of your tree, more so than I was here, but it was a very simple fix. The next item that I want to do is go into my fillet. Because I've moved my cut above the fillet, I can add the 3 additional edges I've just created into a single fillet feature. This is going to greatly simplify your tree and allow you to maintain everything in a single feature instead of more features to manage during the exam. So that's another benefit of moving that feature up above your fillets and chamfers. The next item I'm going to do is the cut that's going to be on the boss on the front view. Now this face in blue is not being cut, so we want to make sure we don't cut that. I am moving my rollback bar up. This is because there is a chamfer on the face that I'm sketching on, and I don't want to interfere with that. So I'm going to start with my offset entities. This is going to guarantee that this will always be 10 millimeters offset from the outside edge. And I can use my convert entities to create that relationship to the edge itself. This is one way how we can control exactly what we're going to cut and then compensate for changes when we have to go and change all those global variables again. But I don't want that face to be cut, so I'm going to reference that particular face and make some vertical lines. This is going to allow me to clean up this sketch with my trim entities tool and prevent that bottom portion from being cut with the rest of my items. So here we can see in our shading exactly what is being cut inside of our sketch. And I'm ready to go to make this into my cut feature. Under my from, I'm going to use the offset. This is offset 30 from the face I'm working in. this is a great way to reduce the creation of any extra sketch relations or reference geometry. And I'll extrude that 30. That's the depth we were provided. And we can see how that face underneath that boss is not cut. We should be good to go with this. We have one last piece of information that we want to make sure that we compensate for, and that is the changes inside of our fillet feature. We just have a dimension change, but it's enough to knock your mass off if you don't change it, and we want that angle to be 30. That will update all 4 fillets at once. From here, we're ready to go into our mass properties and see what our mass is compared to the key given in the sample exam. And we can see that our mass is 13,206.40 grams. That's exactly the same as what's in the answer key. So we know that we've made all of our changes correctly, everything is good to go, and we don't have any errors in that part. The last section is question 5. Question 5 gives us some additional parameters to change this model to. Now remember back to the value C that lost its reference to the global variable. If that happened in the model, that could make this particular question be incorrect. So make sure that we had everything set up at the very beginning through the last question, so these updates are going to be very streamlined. And the mass for this is 14,208.01 grams. Again, I'm 0.01 grams off of the key. That is such a minor discrepancy that you can chalk that up to a rounding error. I'm going to call that good. It would still be accepted as correct in the actual exam itself. And that actually brings us to the end of question 5 and the end of the sample exam. So remember that the sample exam that we just went through is really only an indication of what is in segment 1. There are 2 other segments to the sample exam, but this gives you an idea of the modeling portion, which tends to be statistically probably the most challenging section of the CSWP exam. Now if we go back to take a look at this confirm delete window, there's a couple things about this I want to make sure everyone is aware of. And first of all is there is a do not show again item at the bottom of this window. So if you were following along with me in this exam and you had at one point clicked don't show again, it's possible that you don't see this window. What SOLIDWORKS does is, yes, it doesn't show you the window, but it also automates whatever your response was. So if you had it delete all dependent and absorbed features and all child features and you said yes, you run a really high risk of completely blowing out a huge portion of your tree during the middle of the exam, because you're not going to see this in order to make the changes to it. This is one item that I recommend that you do not ever say don't show again, because you're just never going to be that consistent about what you want to delete on a per model or situation basis to make it that consistent. So if for some reason you didn't see this during the exam, or during this video of the sample exam, you're going to want to go up into our options and system options and get it back. So I'm looking for messages, errors, and warnings. This is going to give you a comprehensive list of all of the messages, errors, and warnings that you have said that you don't want to see anymore. If you aren't seeing that window, you'll want to find it, click the box, and then it will be available for you going forward, at least for the exam. Because again, what you don't want to do is delete way too many items and cause yourself to waste a bunch of time going back to edit those items or put them back into the model. So with that also, I cannot stress enough on saving early, saving often, and saving a file for every question. That is going to really help you. Another item that I did is in video 1 of this, I referenced as much as I could to the front, top, and right planes. That was to reduce the amount of sketch relations that I created between these features. It's going to make editing much simpler for you. I want to thank you very much for your time and your attention in going through the first video and then this video on the CSWP sample exam. I hope that you found this to be beneficial. I hope you got some good tips and tricks regarding what you need to do to be successful in the exam. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you and give you some pointers. And I wish you good luck on your exam. I hope you pass and have a great day.